All right, let's get you sorted. 231 Reboot Adele. All right, Sag
Bit of a
Gamer
boring
2.
character.
Yeah, is it boring?
I think she is fun in her own particular way.
Mm-hmm. I think it gets a bit more, a bit more complex later on because you have to rely on every single thing to make sure you keep optimizing the DPS. But for training, I think in general it's very, let's say, straightforward.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, if you're trying to like turning off your brain and watching something else on the side or something, that's fine, I guess. All right. So what do you enjoy doing, and what have you accomplished so far, and what are you trying to accomplish?
Well, I enjoy bossing,
Mm-hmm.
and currently my goal is trying to solo Helix and Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
I only managed to get to phase 3 of Lotus. That's the furthest I've ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really tried Helix yet. I can do hard Helix pretty easily, but usually I just try to get carried for Helix and just... Like, I'm not really sure when I should start trying to attempt doing Helix by myself, because...
Yeah, I think you're kind of at that level where some people might already be able to do it, some people not. It probably depends a lot on the level of your boost nodes, I assume. As those get like closer to being maxed, that probably sweetens the deal. Look at the matrix real quick. Yeah. I mean, they're coming along quite nicely, but there is still room for improvement, right?
Yeah.
So it's like 10, 12... So they're like around level 40 now? Like 35 to 40?
Yeah, going up to 40. I think once they get to 40, it'll be a lot easier, because I get the 20% IED from all of them.
Yep. That will help a lot. Yep.
I think that will probably be my next strongest spike on my character, but I'm not really sure when that'll happen, because I don't really like to... Well, I don't like to farm for... I only like to farm for EXP, which sounds really bad, but I don't know. I don't have any drop gear, so I just really... I only really level.
Okay.
Level.
Yeah, you kill to level. You just go for experience above all else.
Yeah, just that there was the potions from this event, so that encourages me, because I get to skip a level at every
9.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you use the 229 to 230?
Yeah. That's what I did, and I'm probably gonna use the potion to go from 234 to 235, and just probably stop the character at 235 for the foreseeable future.
So just focusing on getting the symbols unlocked and then kind of getting your character sorted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I watched a previous video of yours, and you said, like, to do will, you have to be around 250 plus, be able to attempt it. And I don't really see myself ever getting to 250, so I think I'll just get to 235. Like, get this character to maybe hardy, normal, lucid, maybe not, and just start a new main. That's what I think.
Okay.
My thing is.
Yeah, progression does slow down at a certain point. Adele's progression doesn't slow down as much as a lot of other characters do because of how her mobbing works. So you can keep doing like relatively low effort mobbing and still keep getting good rates and keep reaching 250. But I mean, the amount of hours excuse me, that you need to put in to get your levels is, of course, going to go up. It's possible that with the Celis region at 240 that maybe some of the maps are quite nice. That's possible. And then hopefully if we get rid of some of the botters in Arcana, maybe that should make the whole process a little bit less tedious, as in that you have to compete with a bunch of botters to find maps, and rather that you could just, train whatever you want to. Because recently it's probably been very annoying, I assume, to try to train.
Oh, I usually never go to that area of Arcana. I just try to, because I don't one-shot at like the cavern places in Arcana yet, so I usually just skip it. And when I have it in my daily, I just re-roll it for something else.
Right.
So I don't have to like go look for a map or anything.
Because you do have the arcane power, so that's probably mainly just the boost nodes then, right? That still, because there's like 40 plus final damage still waiting there to be rolled into, I guess. But I mean, that's just time.
Yeah, that's true.
That will definitely allow you to be able to do that. Okay. Let's look at the Legion stuff. So since your plan is to not really go super far with your character, but kind of and then start another character, do you already have another character in mind that you enjoyed that you might play?
I'm leaning towards Shadower. Because, like, the thing I like most about Adele, probably really stupid, is that I like being able to dash in whatever direction I want, even diagonally. And Shadower has that at 5th job, so...
Yep.
Yeah.
You have like 4 dashes. Pretty short cooldown too. Actually, it's pretty fun. Who else has that? Hayato kind of has that.
I got 2 scarred by the highest temple Hayato, so I don't really want to.
I mean, the actual Hayato is nothing like that one, because that one's got like a weird dragon skill and stuff. Like all of that never made it into the actual Hayato, but yeah, the Hiai's on Hayato is strange to say the least. Oh yeah, Buccaneer has it when you're transformed, and otherwise you also have a dash skill that can do that. I think Phantom in 5th job gets some crazy dashes as well, right?
No, I looked into Phantom, and I thought his 5th job skills, they aren't very interesting to me. They were like really bland. Like,
yeah, you're gonna have to use those for a long time, so... Oh yeah, what they do? Yeah, every single Phantom skill for 5th job has like a wall of text that you need to read first. On like what it does and how many times it hits and how it... Yeah, that kind of is not really warming me up to the idea of playing it either. But I mean, there's like there's basically like the Joker skill. Well, there's one skill that just does like a big burst and an iframe, and then you roll a card at the end and get a buff for a little bit. There's another one that just sends a projectile across the map that just hits things for a while, and it lasts longer than its cooldown. So at a certain, if you always press it whenever it's up, you can have 2 of them flying around almost all the time. And then what is the 3rd one? I forget one of them. And then the other one is just a bunch of dashes through the map that just explodes and kills everything. Oh, I remember the 3rd one. But you can also do that in place, so you could just use it as burst on a boss. And then the other one, you have to build stacks onto your target, kind of like how Shadower builds a lot of stacks as well. And then I think it teleports behind the target and then unloads some kind of burst. I think it's kind of like what Shadower has as well.
Okay.
But yeah, they're quite special, and they still rely on the buffs and they can rely on attacking skills from other classes as well. So it is there's a lot of research to be done there. They're definitely more complicated because of that. So if you're looking for more simple characters, I guess the Adele is quite a bit simpler. I don't know how simple the Shadower is, but he's Yeah, he's more like solo oriented, I would say. So if you're just playing your character and you're just getting to a certain point, you're not really getting to the point where you're doing like the massive party bossing, really. I mean, you can get there by partying, but then eventually you'll be able to solo most of the things. So I think it'll be a solid character for that.
Yeah. I don't know, I still have quite some time, so I might change, but it's just what I'm looking at right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then, are you terror burning the shade right now?
Yes. It feels really bad to play. I don't know if it's just me, but I am 5-shotting mobs, and it feels really bad. So it's not that high as it should be right now.
For me, it feels really, like pretty bland. But then the 5th job makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that's what people online are saying. So I just have to push through it.
Yeah, bite the bullet. Well, just 19 levels, so that's like what, like nine level up 8 times or something. 9 times.
Yeah, I was
7 times.
training it yesterday. I DC'd twice when I went to get MVP, so I just kind of quit.
Yeah, MVPs are super high risk these days. Even just queuing for a boss is high risk. It's quite laggy with the servers. I don't know if it's like an AWS problem, because Twitch is also having a lot of issues, and they're both relying on AWS, so might be that AWS is just struggling.
Well, I'm not too sure about any of that technical stuff.
Yeah, me neither. But a lot of times when Maple seems to have issues, then suddenly the chat or my stream starts having issues as well. It seems to go hand in hand way more than would be a coincidence. So, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the technical side either. But I'll just, throw some stuff out there like I pretend I know what I'm talking about. So Legion-wise, you're okay with just like slowly over time building up all the characters and everything? Like that's something that you don't mind doing?
To get to 6k Legion, is sitting most things at 140 fine?
Yeah, because you'll have a few characters that go above that. Terra Burns, a main, maybe a Kanna, right? And then that'll like round it out. Because I think if everything is 140 or at 5,600, I believe, right? So yeah, then you need 400 levels extra. But right now the Adele's already 90 extra. The Kanna's 80 extra. That's already 170 out of that. And then you have a 180, two 180s. That's already 80 levels. So you're already at like 250 over that. So if you have all the other ones at 140, you'll only be 150 levels away. So there'll be like 2 or 3 characters to 200, or a little bit higher on the other ones, and then you'll be there. So
yeah, okay, I can just slowly work towards it, because the 0 will get to 200 eventually as well.
Yeah, and you'll have some AFK events and some storm growth potions left and right, and then some free levels, maybe a typhoon growth potion for the Adele here and there, and then yeah, 6k is definitely very doable.
Yeah, so then I'll just slowly work towards it.
Yeah, I just like to do a lot of Zakum runs and then just call it a day.
Yeah, I only do it on about 2 characters now, because I can't really be bothered to do it on more. But I should do it on more characters, because I have a bunch stuck at 120.
Yeah, I see a bunch of 120s, yeah. I mean, don't say you should, right? I mean, just do as many as you feel like doing, honestly. Because if you're like go past your own limits, you're not gonna have fun anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, do a little bit every day so that there's at least steady progress. But yeah, just do as many as you feel like doing. That way you can just maintain the steady progress. Because then 4K, yeah, 4K is like really soon already. Well, since we're on topic of, like what order you're gonna make all of them in and everything, like you've kind of got that figured out, or are you just making them randomly as you go along?
I usually at the beginning I just made them because I wanted their link skills. That's why I parked most of them at 120.
I see.
But now I think my next character I'm gonna make is actually the Shadower, so I can get my level 6 Thief Link. And then I'm not really sure what to go after that. I think it's probably going to be the crit damage characters like Jet and Hayato.
Probably. You have all the experienced characters, right? You haven't... Do I see an Aaron, or am I missing that one?
Oh yeah, Evan,
Here.
Aaron, and Mercedes.
Yep. Yeah, and then Zero is also going to be an experienced character. Because I usually throw all of it into one pile, so between the Lynx and the Legion, I throw it into one pile, because, you know, what if a character has a Lynx skill that's a little bit weaker, but has a way better Legion buff, then maybe they're a higher priority to make instead, right? So I try to, you know, look at both of those things. And then this is basically the priority list that I have that I think makes sense. Yeah, I'm basically up to like these, the top 32 ones, like those are all, well, actually these are also, well, if you need the knockback resistance, but you're not going to need that on a Shadower, I don't think. Up to 36, up to the Lumi, like these are like the really solid core, and then you can switch some out depending on what class you are. If the Legion buff isn't, you know, the member bonus isn't good, then you just pop some stats instead. And if the Link skill doesn't work for you specifically, then you can go for some other ones. But the main thing here is that these will work for all of your characters in your account, so that you can level them all up faster. And you can just get many more characters up to 140 in a timely manner.
Yeah.
So that's the Lynx command. I don't know if you've seen this one before.
I just got a question about Legion. Is Wild Hunter's Legion actually good? Because it's kind of vague when I read what it does. So
yeah, you just have a percentage to gain damage. So it is something, but it is not one of the top ones, basically. So once your Legion is pretty big, you eventually do put it in, because it does more than a lot of other classes does, but it doesn't do all that much. It's mainly more reliable if you're a Hurricane class, or you have like many lines of damage that you do, because then it more reliably triggers, and then it more reliably works for you. But if you do very low amount of hits, low amount of lines, then you could be off by a lot more, because the standard deviation gets wider, because there's fewer occurrences of it happening.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, eventually you get it, but it's not super priority now. Any other characters that you were wondering about?
For resistance, right? Because I only have one like resistance character right now. Do you think it is good to get the level 8, or do you think having it only at 2 or 4 seconds is fine?
Well, 2 I think is not good enough, but it's mainly, well, our ping is probably pretty bad, right? Because I'm assuming you're in Australia.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the time when you respawn, Spirit of Freedom is still pretty quickly, it's gone. So I'd say at least level 4 for it to really do something. I like to have it at 8 because, you know, if you need to respawn or there's a full map attack, I just say like the more the better. But 4 or 6 is probably already pretty good. Might be a min-maxy thing. But yeah, like among all the characters that you're gonna make, the resistance characters are apparently are eventually gonna be in there. But among all the classes in the game, all of the resistance characters are pretty special. So I wouldn't be surprised if you just get it to like level 4. You just pick the 2 that you like the most, and then you just mega burn the other 2 that come up or something if you really don't like playing them, for example. And then it's more like a thing that you know, like kind of like icing on the cake later on, rather than a super important thing early on.
Okay.
Yeah, but I go at least for 4, yeah, because 2 is still, that's pretty much means like you land and it's over, like kind of like that. Those first 2 seconds, because they start as soon as your screen goes black, and then sometimes if you're lagging even a little bit, it's over pretty quickly. So, oh, and for Gollux and Helix, it can be pretty useful if you're like respawning into like the breath and everything. Have a little bit more room to breathe, pun intended. So yeah, I think it's very useful. Yeah, but yeah, if you don't enjoy the character at all, then just put it on put it on hold until you really feel like doing it, or which means Mega Burn probably, because then you could just blow right through the levels and then you don't have to worry about details.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just on the topic of Link skills, since we're here right now.
Sure.
Is the ones I currently have like what I should be using for bossing, or should I change it up a little bit, or go for one that you recommend?
If you're using this for bossing, yeah, I need to have like a better visual, because I realize that whenever the topic of Link skills comes up, that I always forget like one or two, which is not good, of course. But you're definitely really close. I can already tell that. Yeah, the terms and conditions.
I think the obvious one I'm missing is probably the Mage Link. But I think that's maybe about it.
And which one would you replace with that?
Probably the Xenon one. In most videos, I see you say it scales pretty badly.
Yeah, so. Yeah. It's very good early on when you have barely any percentage stat anywhere, right? But as you start min-maxing all of your equips and most of the stuff starts getting legendary, the other damage ones start hitting a lot harder. The one thing is, there's a, because usually it comes in place for the elementalism if you have crit lines that you also want. So I'm using these two that you're not using. Use the other one, and I'm using this one. Wild Rage, I've had advantage. There's could be something in my brain that I'm missing. And you have Light Wash. Who can see what we're missing, chat?
Maybe the Jet Link skill? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to roll that pretty high. That can be quite expensive to roll that well enough. It can be pretty good, but yeah. Because you have terms and condition. What would I pick as the Adele? This one is the base one. You don't need the extra crit from the Focus Spirit, right?
No, I'm at 100% with decent sharp eyes. But I do have to invest a bit into crit rate in my Legion to get that.
In your Legion, yeah. So what? So, yeah, that would be. So mathematically, that would be a min-maxy thing that you could do, right? And if you could switch the Elementalism for, because you have level 2 Beast Tamer, right?
Yeah, it's not in my screenshot because I recently got it to 140.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see it up here. Yeah. Because then you'll drop 3% damage, quote unquote, right? Because 7 boss for 10% damage from the Kanna, but then you gain 7% crit, and in the Legion, crit and boss damage is equal value, so that you gain 7 there, so you go from 10 to 14 essentially.
Yeah.
So that could be an upgrade, but I'm wondering if that's the thing that I'm looking for. Okay, if I was an Adele, which ones would I take? I'd take Fury Unleashed, Phantom Instinct. I'll take maybe Elementalism, but let's go back. I'll take Light Wash, Wild Rage, Judgment, Unfair Advantage, Focus, Spirit of Freedom. That's 7. And then Terms and Condition 8, Empirical Knowledge 9, Thieves Cunning 10. Yeah, and then you have 2 slots. Yeah, 2 slots between Focus Spirit, Elementalism,
and the Arc skill.
The Arc Link, oh yeah, of course, yeah, the Arc Link, yeah. Solus. Oh yeah, I look over Arc because I'm on my Arc, of course, because it's not on the list. Yeah. So you have 1 slot where you either use Focus Spirit or Elementalism or Core Aura or Cygnus Blessing or Close Call. Those are all like the ones that are all fighting over the same spot, basically. Yeah, you just pick whichever one is the best for you at that point. Yeah, so I think the Beast Tamer would be better already now by rearranging some of your stuff. And of course, if you get the Beast Tamer eventually, maybe at some point to 210, maybe there's some other Terra Burn, and you feel like that's going to be a good gain for you, then you would gain an additional 6% there by being able to redo another 3% crit and then 3% more boss damage even.
Oh, when I was leveling Beast Tamer, I actually had a lot of fun. I might get it to 210 just by itself. Because I see a lot of, well, I see in your previous video people said to Terra Burn it or something like that. But when I was playing it, I found it really easy.
Yeah, it's really hit or miss. I think it's strong enough, but if you don't enjoy it, then it just feels like it takes forever. It's kind of like with mechanics. Some people really hate it. Well, a lot of people really hate it. I would say like 80%, 85%. And they really just need to burn it to get through it. But the other 15% think it's fine or even enjoy the mechanic and then like it a lot. So there's a lot of, with the, like your own perception of the time that you're spending, that can really have a big effect on whether you feel like it's slow or fast.
Yeah, I guess going from Shade, everything's fast.
Shade seems to be a minus in your book, and then Beast Tamer is a big plus so far. The contrast probably makes it, yeah, even more so. Okay, anything else for Link skills and Legion, or is that quite clear?
I think that's all.
Okay.
I got everything I wanted.
For the Legion positioning, do you know about the repositioning of the stats in the middle?
Yes, I just learnt about it yesterday in one of your videos.
Ah, so okay, yes.
I'll change that up a bit.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's just minor, of course, but it's a little bit of strength and attack that you've earned, but that you're now not getting just because of a few clicks, right?
Yeah.
You gotta reward yourself. If you're moving pieces from crit rate to boss damage, move the top pieces first, because one of them is like bleeding over into experience anyway. And that's giving you like 0.025% bonus experience. I don't know how attached to that you are.
Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't get it to fit properly.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I mean, in the beginning, you're kind of cramped together in those tight spaces. Once you get to the 4K, you'll have way more room to work with. So then it'll be easier to do the full setup. The other thing is, do you know with IED how that all works, the calculation and stuff?
Yeah. I understand the maths behind it.
Okay. And you have
Well, I understand the maths behind it, like when my IED is high, but when my IED is low, I'm not really sure. Like how to calculate it.
So what you mean is that you know what kind of numbers you're looking for, but not quite how to get there? Is that what you mean?
So for example, I think I can calculate my invisible IED. I'm not sure what the proper name for it is.
Yeah, I call it functional, but yeah, I don't know if there's any official name for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure how I get to 90 IED. Like, if I lose, I'll probably talk about this a bit later, but like I don't think my WSE is quite optimal because I have 42 big lines of IED, which I think I should probably try to
I see, yeah, the weapon and the emblem.
Yeah, so like if I re-roll one of them, like how much IED will I lose and stuff.
Ah, okay.
I could probably unequip it and just see that. But
you could do that. Have you ever used the calculator for it?
I haven't used the calculator just yet. I used it a little bit time ago, but
So if you can get all of your oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but when I hit 90% IED from my like when I hit the visual IED I wanted, I just stopped using it because
Mm-hmm.
most of the bosses I'm currently trying to do, I need that really high IED, and I don't. Well, my Legion isn't quite big enough to give me the IED I need, so I just have to kind of run maybe suboptimal lines or something like that, just so I can get to the IED I need.
Yeah, it's not bad early on to have like an extra line of IED because you do need, like you said, you do need a lot. And later on in the game, your links and your Legion, and then maybe also like once your hyperstats get higher, right? Your hyperstats will kind of cover that. But until you get to that point, it's totally fine to rely on some of the IED in your weapon and your secondary and your emblem. The other thing that's really good for IED, but I assume you already have it by the numbers, is from familiars.
Yeah, I have two 15% IED.
Yeah, yeah, I assume that with the number, because if you're already that high up.
Yeah, they're right at the bottom.
Ah, at the bottom. Okay.
What about them?
So the one thing, oh, there they are. Yeah, the one thing that the calculator can do well is once you have put in all the sources and you see what your functional number is, which will be higher than what you see in the game. Like if you have that, you can just do like, oh, this is a line of 30% for my emblem. You just click that one, it removes it, and then you can immediately see what the number becomes.
Oh yeah.
But every time you go back to the calculator, it might. I think it like resets, like it doesn't save with cookies and stuff. So maybe like somebody made their own ID calculator just like in a Google sheet where if you just keep track of it there, that might be easier. I mean, once you have the numbers down. Yeah, because then you can just very easily see like, oh, I don't have this, forget this line, and you could see what you have at all times, and you don't have to like every single time throw it into a calculator. But yeah, a lot of it, I just kind of like, I just kind of like feel out as well. Like I don't really do the exact numbers. Only when we start thinking about like min-maxing your weapon, your secondary, and your emblem, then you want to make sure that you don't make any big mistakes. Where you're like, oh yeah, you can definitely just get rid of those lines of IED, and then you figure out what is the realistic point that your Legion and your Link skills and everything are going to get to, and you're like, ugh, and then you end up like functionally by yourself at 92 or something, and it's like, ooh, that's kind of yikes at that point because you do want it higher than that.
Yeah, I actually have 3 IED familiars. Is it worth getting the badge so I can put 3 in, or is it not worth the time?
Eventually I would say so, yeah. But it's 10 badges, right? How many of those do you have right now?
I have 3.
3? Yeah. So, yeah, there's 3 of them that are very easy, but you have to be high level. Like there's the 245, the 250, and the 255 ones for those areas. Those are very, very simple because they have no bosses. They just have the regular monsters in the maps, and those are really fast. But, it's not that fast to get to 255, of course. Yeah. One thing is, if you do the booster packs every now and then, you can get more rare familiars that can basically fill out a set if you get it. So if you get like a Demolishizer or a Black Viking or a Seraph or a Papalatus, like those, if you just get those one familiar, that basically makes it so that you just have to run to the monsters in the maps and then boom, it's a free badge basically. So if you slowly over time do that, and if you get one of the lucky ones, do that. But eventually, yeah, if it's your main character and you're going to take it like at least a 235, and if it's going to be your strongest character, you want to do things like Lucid, I would say eventually it's good because then you can use 2 IED and maybe even add like a healing familiar a little bit to help the team with that as well. But then I wouldn't add an extra IED. I would only count for IED on 2 slots, like either 2 IED and a drop or 2 IED and a HP. So like 2 IED and a drop if you're just doing your regular bosses and you don't want to have to switch mid-boss, to get some decent drop rate from the boss. And with a healing if you need to help your team with like a harder boss fight. And then for Lucid you can switch at the end anyway because of the box. Or if you get way further into the game and you can, then you probably want to get 2 IED and 1 with boss or something like that, any kind of other combination. So it would go over 2.
So just on the question about familiar, is getting the like, I know for the Marina badge, I got every familiar but the Demolishizer,
Yeah.
is it unrealistic to get it from the boss itself?
No, you can get that one, but yeah, some kind with drop rate, because you can go in unlimited amount of times. You have to wait. Either you wait a little bit in the channel to go in again, or you CC and then go in. But of course, CCing a lot is not, you know, insanely advisable right now because of the game stability. But you can get it. But I think even realistically, most people do it like over 100 times, I think, before they get it.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not gonna be it's not gonna be super fast.
Yeah, I guess it's just gonna be a slow thing. I eventually work on that. I won't worry about it for now.
Yeah, yeah. If you, for example, if there's like I don't know, if there's like a drop rate event, but you're not feeling like training, for example, you can do it then, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can look through the badges, see which ones are pretty easy to do. Because you have 3 now. Which one is that?
Just the 3. Yeah, those 3 up there.
Starter, Snowflake, Oppressor. Those 3.
Yeah, those 3.
Mm-hmm. So the Rebel badge is also pretty easy. On the bottom right of the first page, that's basically just all the monsters in Edelstein, and you already have some of those if you did the Oppressor badge, so that speeds it up a little bit. On the second page, the Mineral badge is pretty good, and I think that one also overlaps a little bit. No, it might not overlap, but the Mineral badge is really good. The Wave badge is only if you get the Seraph. So Seraph only drops from the booster pack. So unless you get that one, that one's kind of like off limits. And the Clockwork badge that's the one where the Papulatus Familiar comes in. I have gotten him as a drop before, but yeah, it's a slow process as well. I think the Von Leon, the Lion badge on the second to last page, that one is decently easy to get. The Mariner badge, because of the Demolishizer, that one is doable, you know, manageable. Same with the Mush King badge, because there the last one you need the Viking. And the Black Viking is also like a boss, but it's also a room that you can go into infinite amount of times. It doesn't even have that cooldown though that the Demolishizer does. You can just literally just go in, go out, go in, go out, and just keep spamming it. But yeah, look, you're looking at like 100, 200 times there as well. So, you know, whenever you feel like doing that mind-numbing mind-numbing stuff. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that you can have pretty easily. And then, you know, if you get lucky with one of the bosses from the other badges, you can fill those out. What a lot of people do that's more reliable is like the Commercy one, but there's like a trick to it because I think there's 2 cards you can only get during the pre-quests. So you have to make sure that you don't complete the pre-quest if you didn't get the card and then redo it. Or if you did that, redo it on another character. And then, I don't know. Some people go for the Temple of Time one. The Hatching badge? No, not the Hatching one. Hatching one is horrible to leave for one because it's got Dragon War in it. The Time badge. It's got both Laika, Lilanouche, and Dodo in it, which is, you know, not great. But it does have 3% IED as well in the set bonus. So, and those bosses are in 20 channels and they respawn pretty quickly. So some people try to go for that one to like round out the 10 sets if you feel like it.
Oh, yeah. I saw a Reddit post about someone trying to get the Time badge and complaining about it.
Yeah.
Maybe not for me.
Most likely, yeah. Yeah, I got one Laika now just from passing by Laika and getting the drop. But I mean, in total, I've probably passed by and killed Laika at least like a few hundred times probably at this point. And I got the Dodo from a pack one time, so yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm close to it on this character, but yeah.
Just a question about pack, because I actually never bought one.
Yeah, sure.
So, is it? Do I just disenchant familiar cards to get money to buy it?
Yeah, you go to extraction, and then you can extract those that here I can do it now on stream. You can do extraction, and then can I do extract all? yeah, select alls right here. And you want to double check that you don't have anything in here that you might want to, that you like, that you want to use, anything that you've ranked up to epic or unique, of course. The ones that you do want to keep, you can just lock like this, and then they won't show up in the extraction.
Yeah.
So once you select all, extract, and then there's a nice trick when you do this, is hold down the escape button to close it immediately, because otherwise your client lags like crazy and sometimes even crashes and locks up. That's also beautiful. And then it says like how many points you get, and those points are added here in the shop, and then here you can buy the pack. Yeah, let's buy a pack. Let's do it. Boom. And then the pack goes into your use, I believe, and then goes into your cash shop, and then opens up, and then you get 2 pretty common ones, and then you pray for the third one. And I got a captain. That one's not rare at all. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I have quite a few from farming that.
Yeah, exactly. But it could have been one from the Commercy prequest, for example, speeding up that that area specifically. So, you know.
Yeah, okay. So at my level, is it not worth fusing any familiars? Or should I just extract all of them and only fuse when I get to, well, when I eventually get to Moonbridge? Maybe one day, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would reveal them as long as you have like something with some team healing, something with a little bit of drop rate, and then 2 IEDs if you have that. And then once you have that, just extract everything else. And then, yeah, either packs and save a little bit of a buffer if you need to boost your bar. And then basically you hold on to that until you get to Moonbridge, and then you start doing the fusing and the revealing and all that. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can kind of park that for later. You don't have to constantly worry about it. Yeah.
For drop rate familiar, is the highest one I can get low increase drop rate by a small amount, or can I get something better than that?
I believe so. I linked on the familiar guide at the end. I linked the paste bin. Someone found all the potential lines. So the highest you get would be rare familiar. Increases item drop rate by a small amount, 30%. I believe that's the most you could get. Oh, increases item drop rate with no number apparently also exists in rare. That would be 50%. That would be really good. But you'll probably get the small amount one.
I already have the smaller.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if I should look for, see if a better one exists or not.
Yeah, for rare probably still reveal. Yeah.
Because I know there's the spider that gives 60%, but I don't think.
Yeah, the old spider line is an epic now, I believe.
Yeah, so I don't think I can really get that one. So I didn't play back then, so unfortunately.
Increases might even be unique now, I guess. Is it 60? Oh, increases item and meso drop rate. Yeah, I guess it's a unique line now. But there is the increased drop rate by a large amount one, which is better. That one exists in epic. Where is it? Here, increases item drop rate by a large amount, because that's 100%. And once you achieve a certain level of drop rate, I mean, drop rate counts for both mesos and everything else, but meso drop rate only counts for meso bags. But once you have enough bonus drop rate, then you just have a 100% chance on bags anyway, so you don't need to specifically boost the meso bag drop rate. That was only back in the day, right, for Bye-Bye Station, because some monsters could drop multiple bags. But anything relevant in the game right now only drops 1 bag anyway, so there's no need to keep stacking like crazy.
Yeah, I'm just a bit sad I didn't start this game earlier when I look back at what some of the things you can do, but
yeah, that's there's always going to be some legacy items that you missed out on, but there's also going to be things like the last 6 or so Terror Burns that that were around didn't do anything for my account because I already had, my EK Legion. So, and I did that without a bunch of those very strong leveling events as well. So, in the end, there's going to be a bunch of pluses and a bunch of minuses to whenever you start playing. And just try to enjoy yourself, I guess, because yeah, I could get very worked up about all the hard work I put in. That's a lot easier now for other people. How I did a lot of work before 5th job, but I feel like that's kind of wasted efforts because everyone's dealing with roughly the same hand. There's definitely some ups and downs. Like the familiar system was just rolled out very poorly. Especially the beginning of the familiar system was bad. So yeah, anyone who was playing during that was very chaotic.
Yeah, I just started the game, or I got back into the game like right before the Celestial event. So I guess my one big regret is that I didn't know what I was doing at that point, so I kind of wasted one of probably the best events for account progress.
Yeah, I did my best to try to inform people during that time because, especially when you're new, it's kind of hard to realize how good that was and how to also optimize. I was probably helping like 20, 30 people in the chat every single day who were like, hey, I'm in this situation, like, what do I pick and when do I pick it? And really be like, okay, how long are you going to play? Like, what is your plan for the whole 4 weeks? What is your main character? How far do you want to push it? Like 1 week this, 2 weeks of that, or 1 week of the other one. Like, yeah, every single person's individual situation is different. And I made a video about it for YouTube and everything. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where it would have been great if we had a little bit of notice early on, but it wasn't from the event didn't come from KMS. And most of the stuff that comes from KMS, we can plan ahead for it. Like, oh, that's going to come in around 3 months. That's going to be here in about 4 or 5 months. That's going to be here in 6 months. But this event, I believe, came from Maple Sea, and it wasn't really announced. It was like, hey, next week you guys are getting this. It was like, oh shit. And then there's a lot less known about it once it comes from Maple Sea or from TMS or from CMS or something, because it just isn't as widely. We don't look at those events as closely. So then it was, everyone was scrambling to find out, like, oh god, what do you do? And with the skill points, and can you reset them? And a lot of stuff.
Like, looking back on it, I felt like I did an okay amount of stuff, but I just feel a bit sad because I could have done much more. Whatever. It's not too much to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how strong you would be if you didn't have it at all. You still got some stuff out of it, right?
Yeah, I was just leveling my Adele to 200 through it. So, yeah.
Probably got some Legion progress from it, right?
Yeah. I got my Mercedes to 100, I think. I was stuck at, because
at 70.
I had a bunch of characters, like, made, because I think I played the game, like, once every year for like a week or 2 weeks, but this is the first time I've actually gone hard at it again. So I had like a bunch of random characters made and I got them up to level. I think the only reason why Mercedes is 140 is through the AFK event and the Sengoku event where you ride the horse and you kill mobs.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, the budget arcane, the budget Umbra or whatever it was.
Yeah, budget Umbra. Yeah, well, I mean, everything is budget compared to what Umbra was. The event was pretty nuts, and it was mainly because Kishin worked. So they've kind of come back from that since then, which I don't think they're gonna be able to. I don't think they're ever gonna bring that back. Like, oh yeah, Kishin works again now, guys. I don't think they're gonna do that. So that's one of those things where whatever comes back is probably going to be a little bit different, but. Even that being said, the Celestial Blessing event was really, really good. Okay. Yeah, so Legion pieces will change a lot once you hit 4K, right? Hopefully critical rate will be a little bit less necessary, but I mean, so the way I always say is like critical rate is to critical damage, kind of what IED is to boss damage, right? You want to make sure that those two are high enough so that the other damage can actually be applied, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So critical rate 100 is priority, and then your ID to whatever functional number you want for your stage of the game is priority, and then critical damage, and then boss damage in that order is a good way to keep looking at things. Do you know about the progression grid? Like what kind of numbers you're aiming for with everything?
Yeah, I use the progression grid to mainly for my flames, because I'm not sure when to sit on them and when to roll.
Yeah, exactly. That could be a bit confusing in the beginning as well, because there are many different types of items, and especially in the beginning, a lot of different levels of items. So it's like, well, do you aim for the same thing as on item A as item B? Probably not. And then why not? And how different is it? Yeah, it can be a bit confusing in the beginning. Later on, it's just like, oh, you just have 150 and 160, and then later you have 150 and 200, and then that's it. It's a bit simpler then. But in the beginning, you have like anything from level 90 to level 150, and it's like differences can be quite huge. Well, speaking on that, what are you flame wise? What items are you? Because I think we can get into the items themselves, right? Let me cheat real quick and see if we got through most of this stuff. I guess we didn't check your inner ability yet, but I think that's a good placeholder. There's a bunch of other classes who probably really like this. The 38% buff duration is like really sought after by a lot of classes.
Yeah.
Very rarely gotten.
I rolled it with honor, trying to get crit rate, and I still kind of want to get crit rate second line, because I really feel like it's a nice big number, but I feel like it's not actually that good on Adele. The only really nice thing about it is that my stacks, like my Resonant Rush stacks, last for 10 extra seconds. But like, I'm not sure. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I'll probably...
Yeah, not on Adele, but there's like 15 other classes or something who would like die for this on the second line.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna roll it at the next 50%.
Have you thought about the yeah, it kind of depends on the long term that you're rolling for it, right? In that the top line for skill cooldown is also considered really good. If you consider
yeah, I saw that. It's just that I got 20% because I was rolling circulators, and my first circulator that got me to legendary gave me more damage, so I was just like, okay, I'll just quit it.
Yeah,
and I read on the Discord, well, on the Adele Discord, that it's pretty comparable.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, I'll just save the money going for something that probably won't even get me.
Yeah, so, well, there's two main approaches now, but those approaches kind of depend on whether you want to go into how far you want to go. So if you already indicated like, oh well, I'm probably going through 35 and then that's it, and you don't think you're gonna go much further, then it makes sense to kind of just like lock your boss damage and pray for some crit. Maybe if you get attack or something, you keep that, or if you get 9% skill cooldown or chance to skip cooldown or something, you keep that, you know. Because mainly the reason that you would want crit is so that you could roll out of your Phantom Link skill and switch it with another damaging skill. But that would probably be that'd probably be the Kanna Link to just switch that back into that, right? So that'll be like the equivalent of 10% damage that you would be gaining on your whole account. So that's not insane. So you could be like, okay, well, I'll just roll for something nice. The other option, if you think you're going to play the character longer, would be to just sit on your honor experience and then circulate for the 20 crit. And then once you hit that, then lock that and then re-roll during an honor experience like discount event, and then try to get either boss damage or the skill cooldown back. And because you have multiple outs there, you have, I think, like, what is it, 15, 16, or 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 boss. And the chance to skip cooldown, that gives you more outs that you can hit with the honor roll instead. That would be the other option. So kind of, yeah, depending on how far you're going to go, or, you know, if you do roll a bunch more times now, but you keep getting unlucky and you're like, you know, keep that in the back of your mind when you're rolling or when you're considering rolling, how that's going to affect, like, because if you do the first thing first and then you decide you want to do the second option instead, it's gonna like slow down and just really push back how early you can do the second thing, because you're gonna take way longer to, to make back your honor experience. Turn it back.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you have to make a decision right now, but like keep it in mind if if you're getting really unlucky and you're like, do I really want to spend all my honor experience, or maybe you end up the Adele ends up growing on you anyway, then maybe just keep it in mind, I guess.
Yeah, I think like Adele kind of spoils me, because every time I play another character for like Legion or Link, I just get kind of sad that they don't have the same tool Adele has, and I just go back to it.
Yeah.
This character is so privileged.
Yes, very. That's very true. Yeah, and that can definitely that can kind of ruin other characters for you, for sure.
Yeah.
So you want to keep playing until you find one that you enjoy more, even if it isn't better than the character. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not going to be better at everything, because that's going to be impossible. Because Adele is so high up there, but yeah, just something you enjoy more, you'll get further in. You don't feel like you have to relapse to Adele because it's like a drug almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything with Matrix that you were wondering about, or is that all? Because it seems pretty well set up.
I don't know if you have. Well, I don't want to sound rude, but I don't know if you have that much knowledge about Adele as to like when I should use the new fifth job skill, because to me it seems a bit underwhelming. The storm?
Yeah. Oh, the storm? Yeah, it's a bit... Yeah. I'm not sure.
But people say it's really good. Like, my guild leader is Adele, and he says you should always use it. So,
well, the thing is, when you have 6 swords and then you use storm, the swords get consumed, and otherwise you can't use storm, and then you have to restart them. So I think when it's mainly good is if you have your hunting degree max, you storm, then you start building up swords again, and then once you have like 4 of them, you pop all your other stuff, you bind, then you get your 6th sword, and then you get everything in there, and then you're optimizing all of the skills together, that kind of thing. But for mobbing, I think it's also pretty good to just have it floating around you. I can definitely see a lot of utility to it. I think the one skill that's kind of like hidden OP when you're bursting is the one skill that you're not using, but it does come into play only a little bit longer, because that will allow you to get 8 swords instead, and will increase your recovery of the what's the energy called again?
Aether, I think.
Yeah, of Aether again. And that will help you if you use Storm to consume your previous swords, that you can bring them back a lot faster. And then also does damage, of course, while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Have you played around with Speed Infusion, like as for more attack speed? Doesn't that still help you?
I use a Speed Infusion when I'm bossing, but
okay.
when I'm training, I just use Fix and Holy Symbol. To be honest, I don't actually notice that much of a difference, but
do you use green pots or no?
Yeah, I do use green pot with it. Yeah, it's just maybe in the boss I'm too focused on other things, so I don't really notice it. But yeah, I know you should use it because it does get you the max attack speed. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would use it instead of I had the name before in my head. Now I lost it. The weapon aura. I would probably use it instead of weapon aura.
Like in general.
Yeah, because weapon aura is mainly useful when it's very high level, because then the uptime gets really good. And I always find that weapon aura is kind of nice in bossing when it's leveled, but when it's low level in mobbing, I feel like it just chaoses me. Like I jump in a direction and then weapon aura shoots out in front of me and just kills the monsters I was going to kill already anyway. And then having more attack speed the whole time. I think the one thing will be that if you have if you're operating at peak attack speed all the time, that'll give you a better feeling for what the rhythm is of all your attacks, and then you can rely on that more during bossing. Like if you jump an attack, you'll get a feeling for like how long am I stuck to the ground? Can I jump attack immediately again? What kind of distance between doing impale and resonance rush? Like if I do it too quickly, what is too quickly? When when am I trying to rush into nothing yet? That kind of stuff. Do you use that combo, by the way?
The one where you... Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah. You throw out the Ether Crystal and then dash to it. Yeah. I did in the beginning, and then someone explained it to me. I was like, oh, where am I going to put that button? But then I found a spot for the button, and I'm glad that I did, because it's definitely saves you from a lot of nasty situations. Because otherwise, if you're flash jumping, I mean, it's pretty much the same distance covered. But if you flash jump, you might come into contact with something falling, and then if you're just instantly dashing, it's way safer. So definitely a good tool.
It gives Adele nice mobility as well.
For sure, yeah. That's the diagonal dashing that you like so much, right?
Yeah, like up, down, diagonal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not available for a lot of characters. Arc has that with the unstoppable impulse that you can go a lot of directions. But a lot of classes, even the Pathfinder has the torrent that they can kind of dash with, but it doesn't go diagonal and it also doesn't go downward, so that is pretty limiting. Yeah, other than that, the Matrix seems pretty solid. Yeah, I think Storm, you need like a certain level of power before Storm, I think, starts really popping off. But once you start alternating between all of the big fifth job skills, your constant training speed, especially on bigger maps, gets really good, because things are just constantly getting damaged all around you.
Yeah, I think my Matrix will be fixed at 235, and then I'll just buy the last 2 slots, and I can fit in everything, including the skill. So
yeah,
it's just a matter of leveling and like training.
Yeah, so it'll be 3 more compared to now. Yeah, and then you'll just pop those 3 in basically. And then you can switch out Holy Symbol with any other bossing damage thing you have. And then switch it out at the end, something like that. Yeah, you'll have room for pretty much everything. True. Okay. Alright, let's get to the juice, because we did the familiar stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see how many backups you have here. So for 700 coins, 360. 10 of those. Okay. So equip-wise, what do you think? You were wondering about your WSE, right? About the potential lines? Yeah, so I think you can... Because all of them also have... like you have 7% all here, you have 9% all there. Which is always a nice line to see on your emblem, second line, not... Could have been a 12% attack and you would have been done.
My weapon and emblem have the same potentials, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah, pretty much. You just have them switched around. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the secondary is good enough with the 2-line attack. So no, I probably wouldn't fill with what you have right now. I probably just more focus on the Star Force on the weapon.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the 17-star scroll.
Right, okay.
That's why I didn't level it.
Yep, makes sense. For sure. Because, yeah, safeguarding and high-level item, that's going to be one of the more expensive items, so that makes perfect sense.
I'm
okay.
a bit scarred from Star Forcing, but yeah.
You're not a big fan?
Yeah, I think during my 30%, I got really lucky, because most of my things got to 15, 16 star relatively easily.
Your CRA stuff?
Yeah, my CRA and my ABSO, which I like transfer hammered into get a 15. But when I was like star forcing my cave, like it was off a bit. I spent like, I think I spent like over $1 bill, and like went from like 12 star to 12 stars. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I think the things that were my fodder, like it boomed twice, and like I just gave up. I never saw 15 star once. It went like over a bill spent, so I just kind of gave up and just said, okay, I will probably use the 15 star scroll on my cape.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, to eliminate that risk and having the safeguard. The main thing is with star forcing is if you're doing a bunch of items and you already acknowledge, right, that some of the items got pretty lucky and got up to 16 fast, and then another item gets unlucky, that's perfectly normal, right? Whatever you want to do is you typically want to just throw everything into one pile. Have you ever used the Star Force calculator to kind of see how much it's going to cost?
Yeah, I have.
So whenever you do that and you multiply that number by the amount of items, you probably overall still spent around that or less than that total number, probably, right?
I'm not sure because I
Maybe.
didn't Star Force. I didn't calculate for my K. Like when I look back on my 30%, I actually realized I got insanely lucky because basically all my Star Forcing gear, I kept it in a spreadsheet, and for most of my gear, I got more successes than failures when I was going up to 15, 16 stars. So
yeah, when it's like 50, 45, 40, 30% success rate, so
yeah, so I do realize I got insanely lucky looking back on it now.
yeah.
But
Yeah, you just have to like take the good with the bad, and some items are going to be horrible, and then for you it's the cape, and then some items are going to be insane, and you just only fail like once, and before you know it, it's 16 or 17. Just know that probably the items that you're going to get very lucky on are the items that you can very easily replace, and then the ones you're going to get unlucky on are the ones that are very hard to replace. That's typically how it goes. Just to spite you a little bit more at the end. So you're mainly saving for the 5, 10, 15 to just get everything to 17?
yeah, that's what I'm currently planning to do.
And okay, so I'm gonna mainly look at this for now, so we can kind of see the set bonuses and everything that you're working with. So weapon's gonna end up at 17, and then all of the CRA and the Abzo is all gonna end up at 17. And you've kind of like secured the funds for that?
I actually don't have that much. I have 1.7 bill right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably get to 3 bill, maybe more, the event.
Are you doing Ursus and Maple Tour every day?
Yeah, when I have time
Mm-hmm.
to do Ursus, I do it about 5 or 6 times. 5 out of 5 or 6 days of the week.
It's at a weird time for Australia, right? The 2X?
Yeah, it's like smack bang in the middle of the day.
Yeah. It's not always easy to make that time.
Yeah.
But there's 2 sessions, right?
Getting,
You know about the 2 sessions?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the other one is at like, I don't know, it's like 4 a.m.
Yeah, yeah, that one is impossible. Yeah, okay, that was the one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
It's a little bit impossible, okay.
Yeah, but the 2 extra hours are nice from them.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so how much would that cost? So Cape is getting to 15 without cost, and then the weapon we don't have to look at. So we're looking at 3 items from 15 to 17 that are level 160. And then 3 items from 16 to 17 that are 150. And how are you with backups for CRA? Do you think you're going to safeguard it, or are you going to try without safeguarding?
I think I'll do my absolute gear first, and then I will see how much money I have left over, and then I'll see if it's worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's okay. That sounds fair.
Because I don't really want to do the pain that is getting things to 15 star again.
Yeah, that is just more annoying than anything. You almost just want to pay the insurance just to make sure that you don't have to go through that horror. Yeah, it seems like 650 per Abzo, roughly. So it's mainly so it's gonna be on. Oh wait, it's gonna be on 4 items, right? Yeah, because the cape is gonna get there by that time. Yeah, so that's like 2.5 bill, 2.6 bill, around there. Hopefully doable under 3. There's some outlier here. One guy got really unlucky, but so that might be already like the 3 that you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything like stacks of Philosopher's Stones or a lot of spare Twisted Times or Pieces of Time or Rocks of Time, items like that you could sell for some extra money? Spell Traces, Silent Crusade coins for Mezzo bags, like all of those things also tend to add up a lot.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Rocks of Time and stuff, but I'm just saving them to make Meister rings eventually. I'm not sure if I should.
So if you want to make, yeah, so for Meister rings, you'll need the Twisted Times. You'll need a little bit of the Philosopher's Stones, but those are pretty quick to make back. The main thing that's probably going to be hard is to get enough primal, Grand Spell Essences and Primal Essences. Those are typically the bottlenecks when it comes to making the Meister rings.
Yeah. The Grand Spell Essence is a bit hard.
Yeah. You just have to kill a lot of monsters.
I got like Primal Essence 2 days in a row from Arcarian. So
Nice. That is definitely helping.
Dominator.
Still no Dominator, no. Just get 5 and craft a Dominator.
Yeah.
That's such a brutal recipe. Yeah, so if you have a bunch of Philosopher's Stones, you could definitely get rid of some of those, because it's still going to be a while before you're like mass crafting Meisters. And Rocks and Pieces of Time, those honestly, you don't really need those. That's like a very min-maxy thing. What you would need if you want to get 5% extra critical damage for getting to Meister Smithing to min-max your damage. So if you're not planning on doing any of that, which you probably aren't, because that's like Black Mage territory, then you can get rid of your Pieces and Pieces of Time and Rocks of Time for Mezzo without like any risk.
Yeah, okay. I have about 500 Philosopher's Stone, so I can pull a bunch.
Yeah, you could keep like 100 and then just get rid of the rest.
Yeah.
That's like 120 mil extra. I don't know if you're keeping Confusion Fragments and Dream Fragments, if you have any of those.
I have a few Confusion Fragments.
Because
I basically keep every single material I have. Even though it's probably not a good thing because my inventory gets really flooded.
Your inventory gets full, but also if something comes out and then needs a bunch of them, or you come across an item that you want to make and then you needed a lot of them. The Confusion Fragments used to be used to make the Meister earrings, I believe. Because we used to transpose those into Sweetwater earrings. But we don't do that anymore. So at this point, there's nothing that we really craft that needs Confusion Fragments.
Okay.
So I don't know how many of them you have, if you have like 5 of them or if you have like 20 of them.
Yeah, I only have
4?
4.
Yeah, that's not gonna be... It's not gonna be the thing that helps you get that extra Star Force in, I guess. So... yeah, you can do with those what you want if you want to hang on to them.
Yeah,
it's not going to be enough of a dent, I guess. If you have a bunch of Silent Crusade coins, because you said you do like bossing, you can buy Mezzo bags with those, so that can get you some extra money.
Yeah, okay. I do spend them regularly, so I don't have that much right now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like the ways that you could scrape. And the other way is if you have a lot of characters, sometimes what happens is every character hangs on to like 50 mil or something, and then if you have 30 characters that all have 50 mil, then you actually have 1.5 bill lying around. So sometimes it's a good idea to kind of like scrape your characters, sell all their spell traces, and just put whatever extra money you have all in storage, and then sometimes you get a few 100 mil just from doing that. Just order of magnitude. But yeah, I don't know if you already do that habitually.
No, I just keep money on my characters so I can buy teleport.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I usually throw it all in storage because every character typically has access to storage wherever they are anyway. So I could just pick it up from storage if I need a rock. But yeah, just overall, it gives me better idea, better concept of how much money do I have to work with when an event is coming, and then like what can I realistically aim for in this event based on how much I see in my inventory that I own.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, if you're, if you have like 80 bill or something, whether five of your characters have 50 mil on it, like that doesn't matter. But if your total is 2 bill, and like I said, like let's say all of those characters have 20 mil on them, and there's 25 characters, that's 500 mil, and then suddenly you have 25% more money to work with than you thought.
Yeah. My Kanna has some money, but I'm trying to make it a farmer eventually. So yeah, a bit hard to find money when I don't really farm.
Yeah. Well, that could be another thing. If you feel like your Kanna kills at a decent enough pace, then you could also choose to postpone the 5, 10, 15 and invest in your Kanna first instead, so your Kanna can get online faster and then make the money back. That's another thing you can decide to do. Because once the death, the experience penalty for death in MapleStory is going away in like 6 months, the ability to really hardcore farm on your character is going to be really contingent on how much arcane power did you get in the last 6 months, and are you able to go to the higher level areas once you start leveling. So that could be a factor for you to think about. But yeah, you still have 2 weeks, of course. But in the super long run, so if your Adele doesn't really have a lot of difficulty with killing the things around their level that you want to kill, and eventually you do want to rely on the Kanna farmer to be able to make enough money so you can fund all your characters. In the long term, that will get your money back faster because Kanna could just make a lot of money. I think Adele can also make a decent amount of money, but then you'd have to make meso gear on this character specifically. But if you're like quote unquote ending this character at 235, then that meso gear that you get on here won't really have as much time to repay for itself.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really bother making any.
Yeah, and that's why it does make sense. But depending on how far the Kanna is, a lot of the Kanna's ability to farm comes from getting arcane power, getting your boost nodes up. That's like very important. And then your WSE just having a lot of percentage magic attack on there. And then as long as everything else has a little bit of intellect, you can get very far. But yeah, you do have to, of course, invest initially in your accessories a lot to get them to legendary, to get those lines of meso and drop. That's going to be the big early bump.
Yeah, I have 2 rings that have 20% drop on my Kanna. But I did give it the event ring, so that is a nice damage boost.
Yes, that is a very good ring for them, for sure. Yeah, because if that's what makes sense for you, you could also opt to just go for 16 on all of your stuff for now, and just focus more on the Kanna for the drop rate and the meso stuff there. Because 16 is already pretty good too. Your weapon's gonna go to 17. And you still have a lot of room to grow with your nodes and your arcane power. That stat will get you very far. Because the further you, the harder you go on the Adele now, the more you're postponing upgrading the Kanna, the more you're postponing upgrading the Adele again, basically. Does that make sense?
So, what range do you think is like for me to comfortably do Helix? Because that is like my most, like my next most obvious goal. So, I think like after the Star Force event, I want to be able to like consistently do Hellox. So I'm not sure if that requires 17 star on my gear, or if I can just stop at 15, 16, because I'm not really sure how much stat I get from each star.
Which stat? Have you put it into the equip enchanter before? You can see what it's gonna gain, right? I think it's like, God, is it 7? Is it 8? 9? Is it? I think it's 8 attack from 15 to 16, and then 9 attack from 16 to 17, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen that. Like, I'm just not sure how much it'll matter to like overall my character.
Right. How much it will? Yeah. Okay. So we're looking at 3-star. Okay, wait. Let's get the total picture. We're looking at 5, 6 on the weapon, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 5 there. Yeah, the weapon gaining a lot of weapon attack there. That will be nice, because you know the weapon gains from all the stars between 10 and 15 as well. So that's going to be a considerably bigger chunk. And when you solo Helix, how far were you able to get?
I've actually never tried.
Okay.
Because usually I just try to get carried for it.
Have you tried boss like Chaos Papulatus? Have you tried that one?
No, I haven't tried Chaos Pap yet. Probably should. I think I am strong enough. It's just the mechanics.
Yeah, that's gonna take some practice.
I've watched your video and some other videos, but I guess there's not really much.
I mean, it's a good basis for information, but you're gonna have to get a feel for it to know. It's more like so you can recognize what's going on better, rather than you can be so prepared that you just roll your face on your keyboard and kill it. It's still gonna be quite a challenge.
Yeah.
So wait, so the hardest you've done is like CRA solo and like HMAG solo? That's like the hardest?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking at CPAP, Helix, and then Akechi, I guess, as the next bosses?
I'm trying to do solo Lotus right now. I think I find the first phase the most difficult, actually. But I think Adele's kit's really useful against Lotus, so it should not be that difficult.
Yeah, might be some situations where you need to practice a bit more. The plummet gives you the knockdown resistance, right? So you can use that if you're gonna get pushed. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure if it's cause I have like terrible ping, but whenever I go through a portal, it feels kind of bad.
Yeah, you have to.
If I'm lagging or if...
Yeah, you probably are. Yeah, I had that a lot. When you have the longer phase ones, it gets really, really triggering. Sometimes you have to press up at the portal and keep moving and just jump off the platform and then get teleported later, so that you can be safe. Because if you stand still, you just die to the laser. Because the game, like, you have to like trust that the portal is gonna come in like 2 seconds later, but you have to keep moving, otherwise you die to the laser on top. And it's really bad, but that's sometimes what you have to do to survive. You do have your escape button, but that's not. Yeah, that's also, you have to time that one properly, and if you don't, you get hit a second time before you can get out of the way.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes the angle is a bit too difficult, so you have to take the portal. Or at least that's what I think. Maybe I can always teleport.
Yeah. Well, someone in chat was saying something that Agenda was using plummet through the laser. Someone was saying that. I don't know if they meant in phase 2 to make sure that they didn't get pushed off, or if they meant in phase 1. But I'm pretty sure you just die if you plummet through a laser, no? In phase 1?
I'm not sure. Maybe he had the shield active, so it gives a bit more health.
That's possible. Yeah, that's possible.
Sure.
No, yeah, I might need 17 to be able to reliably Helix, because it is considerably more than just 16. Your boost nodes and your arcane symbols are definitely gonna like take care of the rest. I think your accessories are good enough to be able to do it, because overall your gear is a lot better than like my Adele's. My Adele was able to CPAP, so like CPAP and a catchy should definitely be doable with enough practice. Helix is just, yeah, that's a kind of an annoying one, so you have to get used to that. I mean, not as opposed to a catchy or a CPAP, of course, they're all annoying. Just like HMAC is in the beginning when you do it. But yeah, I think 17 stars should get you at that point, and then you can start slowly working on the superior gear.
Yeah, because like once I do get the Helix, I just plan to trade it, like trade Helix to get the coins for my new main. That's basically why I'm gonna try get it there.
Right, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can speed speed up the process with the other one. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, okay. After 17, I guess the dilemma will basically be after 17 if you invest more in your Kanna first, or if you go for the other character first. If you go for your Shadower first. The more characters you're planning to fund, and the more you're trying to like divest, I guess, the more value will go to Legion and to having a character that can farm. Specifically, if you play more than the amount of hours that you can cover by your totems. So you can get, 17 totems per month. So if you're going over those 34 hours of training, and then you have time left over at the end of the month, then having a Kanna farmer there to fill in those gaps is going to be very beneficial for you.
Yeah, the main reason why I want to have the Kanna farm is so I can like farm for only 30 minutes or 1 hour and I'll feel bad about wasting a totem or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why I want to make one.
But you do run out of totems every month, right?
No, I use about between 3 to 5 totems a month.
Okay.
I'm really lazy about it.
I mean, but you do have enough reward points to buy them?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I guess at that point you probably could try to kind of let go of... I mean, if you let a totem expire, then you use it for 0 minutes, right? If you can use it for 30 minutes rather than 0, that's still more efficient, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like today I used one for an hour, but last month I had 10 of them expire, so I know for myself as well that I'm too lazy with them and that I don't use all of them. So if you get at least an hour of utility out of them, that's still better than nothing. The only argument would be like if you really had to go out of your way to get the reward points, then I could totally get it. But if you already have the reward points, then, you know, it's better to use it a little bit than not at all.
Yeah, that's true. Probably gonna have to totem a lot this month to get to 235.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'll make a decent amount of money just training, even if you don't have the Meso obtain and the things. You still make an okay amount of money.
Yeah, that's true. Like, or just adds up eventually.
Yeah, it's all a little bit. Like, no one's getting like super rich off of Maple Tour. No one's making trillions off of Ursus. It's just all the little bits together and doing it regularly over days that ends up being quite a lot of money. Because if you do Ursus and the 2 runs of Maple Tour every day, then every week that gives you 1 bill. If you do a bunch of the bosses that you can do, that can be up to 300 mil per week pretty easily just for those crystals. And if you add then in a little bit of training, some Silent Crusade bosses, some Philosopher's Stones here and there, a little bit of bosses maybe on another character when you start working on another one, a little bit of farming on a Kanna, and before you know it, you're making 2 bill, maybe even more, maybe even 2.5 or 3 bill per week. And then once you have that steady stream of income, and then you start getting Meso obtain drop rate on more characters, then whatever you're training, you're always making a decent income, basically.
Yeah.
Also, symbols can be expensive if you're leveling a lot of symbols, because I see you probably very recently leveled all 5 of them.
Yeah.
That can just take away like 300 mil in a day.
Yeah. I remember I saw your video. It said maybe you should not spend the money to level them.
Well, there was someone else, who was wondering. They didn't really. Yeah, they had someone else tell them, and I basically helped them with how they can do that. I don't know if it's as important, yes or no, but I don't think many of your symbols are going to be leveling before 2 weeks from now, so I don't think it's an issue for you at this point, right?
Yeah, because I think it costs like 130 mil to go to level the level 15, level 16 one. So
Yeah.
I might as well. I don't think if that 200 mil does come back and bite me.
I hope not.
It's whatever. It sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. I mean, you'll just have like an Abzo item at 16 instead of 17, right? That'll probably be the difference.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you have to compare 100 stat to like 10 stat and 10 attack, I mean, 100 stat is better there, right?
Yeah.
So, are there any specific equips where you're not sure how to move to the next one or what the next one even is? Oh, yeah, one thing I was going to ask, are you working on the Monster Parker medal for this, or are you just going to go straight up to the Shadower instead and start working on it for that one?
So I plan, when I quit this character, I'll just do daily bosses, I'll run Helix, and I'll run Monster Park on it. I probably do get decent, like, those things, like, very little time commitment, and, well, they take lots of time to get, but, like, in a day it only takes about, 30 minutes, because I don't plan to do any more dailies on this character once I get to 235. Like, maybe when the Neo update comes out and it becomes like easier to level, I will maybe contemplate about coming back to this character. But
by that time you'll have way better arcane power and probably some higher nodes from some untradeable nodes from some events or something that you get.
Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I will work on the Monster Park medal on this character because it has my runs already, so I don't really want to.
Right. Yeah, you're maybe already halfway or something, so more efficient.
I do have another question. Is it worth to try to get the transpose on the pendant? Because I'm really lazy about Commercy. I really don't like doing it. Like, I should do it, but I'm not sure if it is, like, if the upgrade is worth that much. Because I don't even know if I will get my Dominator to 16 like anytime soon, because I'm trying to save it for the Abso gear currently. Yeah, and I need to get it to legendary, and I need to find like a good flame on it. It's just, I'm not sure if the Meso sync on it is worth the like transpose stack gain or something like that.
You have a 7 set boss accessory set right now, right?
Yes.
I think you can use that for quite a while, even through the Superior, because mainly when Superior comes in, you're gonna be replacing all the items that are just alien fragment, and you're gonna keep all the boss accessory pieces anyway. So since you're gonna keep it for the set bonus, at least for a long time until you're completely after you're done with Superior upgrade, there's like plenty of time to work on the Dominator in the long run. So I wouldn't worry about transposing it just yet. And when it comes to flames, I would more prioritize your Abzo and your CRA stuff and not worry about trying to flame your pendant or anything like that.
that's what I'm currently doing. I'm just using the events from the flame you get from the event to try to get them at around 80.
Yep, that's a good goal.
I usually stop them if they're 75 plus and move on to the next one.
Yep, that's a good goal to have. Yeah, I think the glove is probably the one you're working on now, I'm guessing. Or like soon, because I think that one just at 4% all set. Yeah,
I was working on my boots, but I got a decent one, so I'll probably move to my gloves then.
Oh yeah, they're oh yeah. Wait, did it change since the screenshot? They're about the same here. Yeah, 27, 4, 30, and 4.
Yeah, it was a lot worse.
Okay.
So, just one question about flame is that I'm not sure if my weapon flame is actually something I should sit on or if I should read.
The 82 seems.
I think it has max attack, but it has nothing else.
Yeah, max isn't that's tier 6, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Might be wrong.
Yeah, because I think on my warrior was 79, so I think that's what you're looking at. 205. Yeah, it's tier 6. Yeah, it's just sitting on tier 6 with nothing else for now is totally fine. Yeah, once all your other stuff gets like, once the CRA stuff gets like 85 and up, and your all of your Abzo stuff gets like 90, 95, close to 100, then you can start thinking about rerolling your weapon as well to get in, to add like a line of boss damage, for example, or maybe damage plus all stats, something like that. But until then, you're totally fine with the weapon.
Okay, that's good then.
Yep. Yeah, I guess the next level up gains would be, well, yeah, besides the little bit of work on the flames, of course, next level up gains would be to probably push the accessories at least to unique. I'm trying to get some better lands there, like the eye in the face specifically. And you could contemplate getting the Black Beam Mark just Star Force as well, so you don't have to worry about the Dineros and the monocle.
Yeah, okay.
That wouldn't be a waste. So that could be something to look into. If like 5, 10, 15 comes around, you get really lucky on everything, you have a lot of money left. That could be like a backup project.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
And maybe dependent to 16 if you want.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, like maybe saving for the Kanna would be better. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to ask. I think I think I'm probably not a very good player because I think my gear is really strong, but I can't actually do what I think I should be able to do. But I don't know. It's just practice, I suppose.
It's practice.
It's good.
Yeah, go for it.
I guess it's just good to know that. Well, my next goal isn't like that far away. It's just I just have to practice and just like bite the bullet and maybe not get some coins a couple days for Hello. Just push it back a bit.
Yeah, it's not like you need to do dailies for another year before you can even try that. It's not that bad at least. But yeah, well, some people's like maybe so on the one hand you can have like your reaction time could be a bit slower, for example, or maybe you can't recognize patterns of attacks of bosses as quickly yet. That might improve with more practice. The second part, if your reaction time just isn't that good, that's something that you can't really help. So if you do notice that you just keep dying to a certain attack and you know exactly what's going to happen, but you just can't respond in time, there's nothing wrong with trying to duo Helix, for example. People get their own coin, so you can just alternate the drops or something with someone. Or for certain bosses, a lot of times what I do is I get to the point where I know I can kill Lotus and Damien, but it doesn't mean I want to do it and solo it every single week because I'm not in the mood for like a 30-minute run, So if there's like one or two other people who are also running who are kind of in the same position as me, we just duo or trio it. And then, I take a cut in the crystal. But again, just like with the totem, better have a third of a crystal than 0 crystal, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to kind of find your own balance. If you're like, okay, I kind of want to get the rewards for this boss, but I know that it's either going to take forever or there's a decent chance to fail, I'll just look around, and then you can use the chat, you can use Discord, you can use your guild, your alliance to kind of find if there's some other people, you know, are we in the same position, and then just join up.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing with this game, is that like rushing stuff just doesn't usually work.
You can get a lot stronger, but you still have to learn mechanics, and yeah, there's still some stuff to struggle through.
Yeah, it's just usually when I die to a boss, I just play lag. So,
I mean, you're in Australia, so a lot of the time it probably is.
Yeah, but I should be able to do it. I just, it's just, it's, well, whatever. It's not a big deal that I can't do it. I'll just eventually get to it.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone, yeah. Some people really value their worth based on how quickly they can do it. For other people, it's just fun to, you know, to struggle and then eventually be able to do it, and then that feels really good to be able to get it. But yeah, everyone learns at a different pace. But yeah, everyone else has different capabilities, like between your internet, between your hardware, between your physiologically. What also for me is a lot of with, especially now with doing Project CRA, what I find is that a lot of my characters have the skills on completely the wrong buttons. Like, I'm never going to be able to do CRA with what their key combinations are now, and I'm going to have to train a little bit and move everything around because they're just not in the right spot. And my muscle memory just won't instinctively go to those buttons. So I have to kind of feel like, okay, what button am I pressing in this situation? This one. Then my skill has to go on that button, not the other way around. Like, I'm not gonna try to rewire myself to go to the other button. I'm gonna put the button where my finger is going, so that way I can learn the boss more easily.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes, you know, if you find that some kind of combination is just a struggle for a certain boss, then you maybe just have to move something around. But yeah,
I think
you find that out with practice.
yeah, that's about all I have to say, really.
Yeah, those were all your questions.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope it was helpful for you.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Okay, good.
And I kind of know what I'm gonna do. Sure.
Okay, cool. I hope you really like the Shadower. I've already found some interesting things. Trying just doing Root Abyss with him. Some interesting 5th job skills for sure. The dash is actually really cool that you mentioned. The other one is a pretty double-edged blade. It does a lot of damage, but it also locks you in place for a long time, so you have to be super careful when you use it. But it's a huge chunk of damage for sure.
Yeah, I guess the nice thing about the Wake update is that a lot of skills aren't ping reliant, so I can expand into a lot more different characters.
Yeah, that is true.
I was like leveling like
some
a
are
lot
horrible
of the teleport bosses, and they felt so bad. Like,
I know, yeah.
Like, I was playing Luminous, and I felt like,
yeah, like cornstarch.
I just didn't.
You're just
I just
stuck.
didn't do anything. I was so slow. It felt really bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, for sure. In the big class grid I have, a lot of the characters that only have teleport as their mobility were graded pretty low, and I do have to circle back and definitely reassess those, because just with how good teleport is now, that doesn't mean that their mobility is now suddenly out of this world, but like, compared to what Lumi was before and now, is definitely night and day difference. Yeah, some classes it was already good, like the Evan teleport was already client-sided, and I believe either the Ice Lightning or the Bishop one as well, because of one of the skills. I don't remember exactly, or the range was a little bit longer. But yeah, definitely like teleportation. Yeah, and like the shield for Mihail, that kind of stuff. Now we just need the attack animation for Dawn Warrior. We need that one, and when we need the recharge for Trinity for Angelic Buster. We need those two fixed at least. But we're definitely going in the right direction.
Yeah, I contemplated maining Lord Warrior, but it's still
it's just too much.
Independent.
Yeah.
Stop. I just gave up on it at 120.
Yeah, it is a pretty solid character. Yeah, it's unfortunate that that the ping is what stops us. Yeah, I do enjoy that character quite a bit as well. But yeah, There's that huge glaring stop sign. Okay, well, good luck with the Kanna and the Adele and the Shadower, and who knows, whatever character pops out that you do end up enjoying.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, and I'll see you around. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Just got into Guild Wars. Wow, another satisfied customer. Amazing. All right. If you like this session, I'm happy. If you have any questions, any remarks, anything you think I said that was wrong, let me know in the comment section so we can debate about it and I can tell you how wrong you are, or you can prove to me how wrong I was, and then I can fix up my knowledge, and then next time I can do an even better job. And if you like these sessions and you would like one for yourself as well, check the description of the video. And I am live on Twitch right now and pretty much always, so it's like impossible not to catch me online, I guess. So thank you for watching, YouTube.